brand new purple light friends, brand new purple light friends, facts, brand new purple light friends, red and blue, purple light friends, facts. You can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land, focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go. Red, blue, purple light friends, brand new purple light friends, facts, brand new purple light friends, red and blue, purple light friends, facts. You can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday.
To this day,
You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land, focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah. We gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts. Peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you and it's going to provoke you and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.
Peace, peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace, peace, peace. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Saturday Night Live. Yes, indeed, you are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. And that tune that you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, that's from the 44 Tops. That is Purple Like Prince, all right? The Facts remix. And yeah, that thing right there, that's a vibe. That's a whole vibe. You know what I mean? That's smoking music. That's laid back. That's, you know, that's wind down. You know, that's victory lap. So peace to everybody in the building. Good evening. We are on a late night edition on a Saturday Night Live on the dog days of summer on the 3rd of August. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Welcome back. Tonight we're going to have a beautiful show. Tonight's show is Project F.E.A.R, the epilogue. So we are still in the shadows of the fear of a Blackamoor Messiah lecture that I just did last Sunday with the good brother Sharif Anael Bey. All right. And we are in the shadow of that lecture. So tonight will be the epilogue. We'll wrap it up. We'll take a little we'll observe the news events that have taken place since we did the lecture, and how the fear index has been moved a notch or two in just that short amount of time. We'll examine the events of the past few days, and in the direction that the theater of war is taking a direction in, because keep in mind, this is all a stage. This is all, this is all a play. I'm talking about, this is all it was written. This is all the Clash of the Titans. But we stay on top of our research, and we always do a follow up. We always do we try our best to give you an epilogue. So tonight that will be that. And let's do the roll call, and then we'll get right to it. You feel me? Let's see who's in the building. Let's activate the grid. You feel me? Let's get the morphogenetic field charged up. Let's do this roll call. We got South Carolina in the building, as always. Carolinas, as always, in the building. We got Richmond, California. We got Lenapes in the building. You dig? T. Dot, Toronto. Richmond is in the building. Michigan is in the building. Seattle's in the building. Phoenix is up in this thing. We got Hawaii, Florida, Charleston, Portland, Oregon, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Lower Egypt, New Orleans, Ireland in this thing. We got London up in this thing. Virginia's here, St. Pete, Chesapeake, Milwaukee, Florida, DC, Tucson. Oh man, we lit. Okay, you near the castles in Opelika. That's what I'm talking about. Charlotte is up in this thing. St. Louis, Alabama, Fort Lauderdale, DMV, Houston, Texas, Memphis, PA. I see you. Yeah, we deep up in this thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, South Carolina. Shout out to South Carolina. Gary, Indiana. Is anybody in the building from ATL? Were you at the Trump rally today? Did anybody make it to the Trump rally at the Georgia World Convention Center, I believe? It was outside. They was definitely outside. I seen a few sound bites, but I guess I'll go watch the whole rally and see what was being talked about. Yeah. So let's get right into it. I don't want to waste everybody's time. I want to open this up with a clip from the master teacher. You know what I'm talking about? We talk a lot about the master teachers, and I'm going to make it my duty to put content on this channel, on this platform, and introduce them to the audience. You know what I mean? I've been in my Bobby Hemmett bag lately, watching a lot of vintage Bobby. You know what I'm talking about? And it's been making a lot of sense of a lot of things, and it's been reminding me that it's important to listen to the OGs, the master teachers, because you'll really start to hear a lot of information that some of your current teachers have been using, a plethora of them. And then you start to find out where the source of a lot of that research and a lot of that information is coming from. And that's usually these master teachers who have thousands of hours of information out there on the internet somewhere, because a lot of the information has been, when I talk about they scrubbed the internet, boy, man, I'm talking about they did a shellacking, and they had the whole shit, the floor buffer and everything. Yeah, they cleaned the internet up from a lot of the I'm talking about images, articles. You know, I had a hard time finding a lot of people. Azazel, Hakeem Bey, Delbert Blair. There's a lot of European teachers that are doppelgangers for the melanated teachers. There's a European Nordic Phil Valentine who recently he died. There's a European Nordic Hakeem Bey. There's a European Nordic. There's a few of them, bro. There's a few of them. They've been scrubbing heavy on the internet. I promise you. So I know of all of these states that I call out every night when we do roll call to remind myself and everybody else that this is a global movement, has no borders. It's not relegated to 125th Street. It's not stuck on no block or no region. This is a global, a galactical movement. You know, I know in my hearts are hearts and my minds are mine. The day I popped on the internet, it was a whole bunch of people already there to greet me. So people been on the internet since day one. And I know that they've been collecting all of the content, the terabytes, the petabytes of content that has been created, you know what I'm saying, with these gems, with these with this information, with this gold. Because when you talk about data, the data of these people that they're scrubbing off the internet, that's considered golden data. They're not necessarily getting rid of it. They're just taking it and they're putting it in a private data set or something. Because when they use the AI, when they trained the AI on all of the information that was available in Google and on the internet and things of that nature, they made sure to scrub it of the information that was considered to be conscious, you know, or to consider to be rich in data. They got rid of a lot of that. And then they trained it on World Star videos. They trained it on Instagram posts and whatnot. They trained it on a lot of the muck and the yuck and the guck. They kept the BS. You feel me? They kept the bad parts and whatnot. They took the Kobe beef and they stashed that. But they leave the they leave all of the spoiled parts. And basically that's what they train their artificial intelligence on. And I'm talking about a plethora of models. Google Gemini, Meta Llama, OpenAI's Chat GPT, and a whole bunch of other tools and whatnot. So data is gold. Data is gold. When you're on the internet and you're consuming data, right? If this data is important to you, if it's important to you, do everything in your powers to get that data. You know what I mean? So you can have that data outside of what them, because the machine is out here erasing shit. The sentinels, the algorithm, they are at work. So let me play this Bobby real quick. This is a few minutes, but check this out. This will be open. This is how we're gonna open this up, and then we'll proceed with this with another visual presentation.
But the real stuff you ain't heard about. It's called Typhonianism, Ophidianism, and Draconianism. You heard the word? You figure there ain't no word, but the white boy tell you your ideas are a little draconian. Well, if it's a word that don't exist, why is he using it in his doggone dictionary? And this is the cult of the dragon. The dragon is in the constellation of Draco. The cult of, and that's the form of the Great Mother. All the other goddesses, the Great Mother, take it from this one Great Mother. But she has a son. It's the mother and the son, and that son is Sirius, the star system Sirius, are known as Soot. Now it's interesting. We had this draconian and Typhonian stuff up until 1907. See, Gerald Massey, when he went into the British Museum, he translated a lot of this stuff, and you can get all this in his works. But after 1907, after he translated Book of the Beginning, 1881, and then Natural Genesis, 1888, and then finally in 1907 he does ancient Egypt light of the world, all this Typhonian stuff disappears. They lock it down, and only people who've been have access to it is your secret societies. And they go to Nubia, where there's a lot of this Typhonian stuff, and they cover over 200 temples at the Aswan Dam, which had this Typhonian stuff in it, as well as they found Hebrew letters all over them temples. So it was the vested interests of the Jews to cover it up, because it would show the African origin of the Hebrew.
So when we say fear of a black or more Messiah, right, we're talking about the Messiahs that came before us, and the ones who are here now, and the ones who have not even come yet, right? They have a fear of the messianic ones from all different angles, okay? All different angles. He mentions the usual suspects, right? The name of the usual suspects who will keep coming up in many of the discussions that we'll be getting into about while we're in the dog days of summer. Remember, we are currently in the throes right now, in the dog days of the summer. This is all about Sirius. This Typhonian Draco energy is running wild. They are pulling off rituals, right? To Sirius, to the Typhonian energies, to the Draco energies, right? As we speak. So let us continue with Bobby. He has more to say.
200 temples.
Yes.
And you know the white man don't. Yeah, you know the white man don't cover up nothing. Now, so you know it had to be some real serious shit for him to cover up 200 temples. And they digging in Egypt this day, and they got 200 temples up under the Aswan Dam, up under the river. See what I'm saying? That was Typhonian stuff. Now the Typhonian stuff of the great mother and the child developed, matured, and declined even before the first monumental phase of Egypt, where the big buildings of the dynastic Egypt. The dynastic group came in, which is your Ra worshippers and Osiris, and they replaced it, the Typhonian, and they wiped it from the monuments. And Osiris takes on the attribute of soot, and Set becomes his nemesis, or he becomes his enemy. But Set is the oldest god in the world, and Typhonian's attributes before it comes Osiris attributes before there was Osiris used to belong to Set. All this is in Jeremiah's Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, as well as Albert Churchward's Evolution, Origins of Christianity, Evolution, Origins of Religion. So Set is the oldest primordial deity of all time, which is the star Sirius also. But Osiris becomes the star Sirius too, as well as all the other Egyptian deities. So one priesthood overtakes the other priesthood. So that priesthood, Apep, is the great dragon also. Apep was replaced by Ra. So the Typhonians at this time travel up into Mesopotamia and find Babylonia, Samaria, Chaldea, and on into Greece as the Etruscans. But they were the
time period we're talking about.
Oh man, we're talking about well, the Typhonians were basically your pre-dynastic time period, so it's before 3000 BC, about roughly. Well, Manetho says that there's 500 pharaohs in the dynastic period, which is 3,000 years, and there's 800 in the pre-dynastic, which was 5,000 years. And roughly, he said, we're talking about about 8,000 years. The pre-dynastic is the Typhonian. It's the Typhonian.
Pre-dynastic. Yeah.
It's the pre-dynastic. So they travel up into Mesopotamia and all that, but they also, from Mesopotamia, they become the Phoenicians.
Now these are still all black people right now.
Ain't nothing. Nothing never was nothing but black. These are the Phoenicians. And the Phoenicians traveled into Rome because the Phoenicians becomes Etruria, and Etruria becomes the Etruscans or the Trojans. You know, the Greek went to war with the Trojans. That's the later day Indo-Europeans going to war with the Trojans and wiped out those Etruscans. But the Etruscans find Rome and Greece, which I showed the picture. And they find Rome and Greece and establish the Greek language and the Latin language. And the first Greek mythology, Zeus and Apollo and Hercules, is a black mythology. It's just as valid. Now, Greek philosophy was stolen from Egypt years later. So don't mix up the time cycle. Greek mythology is black. Greek philosophy is plagiarized Egyptian philosophy. So don't do the time cycle. When I talk about Hercules and Zeus,
That's for all of my Greek letter organizations, brothers and sisters out there. You know, you could take some of that Greek stuff and power it up, you know, update it though.
Apollo and Perseus, that's black. It's not later. It's just the Phoenicians' religion of the Typhonian stuff. So you say, well, what did the Phoenicians or the Etruscans worship? They had the religion of the whole Olympian deities of Greece, which the later Indo-Europeans come in and wipe them out and then take their shit.
The old jizzle right there, you know, that's vintage Bobby. You feel me? I've been getting into a lot of vintage Bobby. I suggested y'all really invest in a lot of the vintage teachings of the ones who are the foundation of a lot of this information. You feel me? Like it really didn't come out of everywhere. It came through a few out of few became many. You know, from a few became many. It wasn't the other way around. It wasn't 100 people dropping knowledge and breaking shit down when we started out. It was Bobby, it was Phil, it was Delbert, you know. So, you know, salute to them and whatnot. All right, so let's check this out. Since we last met up, there's been a lot of things going on. I'm gonna play some videos and we're gonna talk through this.
Coherent and credible stories, just like human beings.
IBM's newest artificial intelligence system took on experience.
All right, so this right here starts out, what does AI mean for the future of humanity? As many people know, I've been a big proponent of AI. I've been a big proponent of technology. I came out with a lecture, the evolution will be digitized. So I'm all for it. However, I'm also the same person who got up here and let you know that the people that are behind big tech and the people that are behind a lot of these quote unquote products, and not only these products, but the people that are behind AI, you know, these are not your friends, right? These are not your friends. And AI serves multiple purposes, not just to help you generate some cute pictures, some doggy pictures, and answer questions and whatnot. It's also a war machine, and it's also a tracking device, and it's also, you know, what Sophia Stewart said it is. You know, it's the foundational introduction to Skynet. You feel me? So fast forward to where we are in 2024, August, it's become even more apparent that the people who are running the show, forget everything else. We're talking about the board of directors, and we're talking about the quote unquote CEOs, and we're talking about these companies. Where are they now and what are they on? It's been made very clear that they are part of the war machine of the Zionists, and they're functioning in that way. okay, and in that manner and whatnot. So this is going to be a video to just give you. This is a trailer for a documentary that's on Al Jazeera.
欢迎来到新华社，我是由新华社和搜狗公司。
The program developed by the company OpenAI can write coherent and credible stories just like human beings.
IBM's newest artificial intelligence system took on experienced human debaters and won a live debate.
Computer-generated videos known as deep fakes are being used to put women's faces on pornographic videos.
I'm convinced that AI will ultimately be either the best thing ever to happen to humanity or the worst thing ever to happen.
AI is really going to outcompete humans in many, if not all, important fields. Everything is going to change. A new form of life is emerging.
We can use it to solve all of today's and tomorrow's greatest problems. Cure diseases, deal with climate change, lift everybody out of poverty. But we could use exactly the same technology to create a brutal global dictatorship with unprecedented surveillance and inequality and suffering.
Privacy is gone.
If we look at what AI is mostly being developed for, I would say it's killing, spying, and brainwashing. So, I mean, we have military AI, we have a whole surveillance apparatus being built using AI by major governments.
The problem of fake news is going to be 1,000, a million times worse. Cyber attacks will become much more extreme. We will have totally automated AI weapons. Will humans actually benefit? The future is going to be good for the AIs, regardless. It would be nice if it were good for humans as well.
This next clip is Bibi Netanyahu. This guy right here, let me show you. Because remember, this is the epilogue, right? So this is Mr. Bibi right here. That's him in the Jason mask, right? So we showed in a lecture that we just did, Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, Project Fear. We broke down how that man in the middle and his government are really the ones that are in charge. They're really the ones running the show. We look at it like the government is just over there, but the government is actually in America in top seats in the companies, Fortune 500 companies, Wall Street, the banks, and also government. Okay, so it's basically like a full invasion of this foreign entity. And he's the one also running the show with big tech. They all bow down to him henceforth. While Elon Musk was at the Capitol Hill when he was speaking to Congress, right? He's a war criminal. He's wanted for war crimes. Yet and still he was able to address the American Congress, both parties, and just the other day. And while he was doing that, you know, they casted the super duper spell because they did a hit on their ops when Sirius was at its height, you know, and right around the beginning of the dog days of summer, they did a fucking drill. And this is they did a major drill, bro, for two of their biggest ops. And it has this whole rumors of war and this whole World War III, and the fear index is at is turned up right now, right? So Jason is Jasoning, okay? So here he goes talking about big tech. This is Bibi Netanyahu.
Because the intersection of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence, and what it does in robotics and genetics and all the other fields, Uli, that you mentioned, everything, that is changing our world in rapid succession. And the future belongs to those who can seize this change. We are positioned right at the cusp of this change, right at the center of this change. We can take it, and we are. It's changing us. It's giving us powers and prowess that we never had before. And cyber is a real domain of power.
So those article titles that were flying by as he was talking, I'm going to rewind it real quick. I want you to go and research these articles. One of these articles says that Microsoft is as much an Israeli company as it is an American company. And it also speaks about the uttermost dominance that Israel has in all things big tech. I'm talking about all of the big companies, right? They are basically Israeli fronts for their war
because the intersection of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence, and what it does in robotics and genetics and all the other fields, Uli, that you mentioned, everything, that is changing our world in rapid succession. And the future belongs to those who can seize this change. We are positioned right at the cusp of this change, right at the center of this change. We can take it, and we are. It's changing us. It's giving us powers and prowess that we never had before. And cyber is a real domain of power. It's a new kind of warfare, very different from what we've seen before. I'm talking about the capacity, and it's not imaginary, it's not futuristic, and it's not exaggerated. With the click of a button, you can bring down nations to their knees very rapidly, if you so desire.
We are reaching a point in human history that we have enough biological knowledge and we have enough computing power, and all you need in order to systematically hack millions of people is just the data. That to hack people means to know people better than they know themselves. To somebody in San Francisco, in Beijing, knows more about you than you know about yourself, about your medical condition, about your mental weaknesses, things that you did 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you completely forgot about them, they know it. Right. This is something we never faced before. Not even the KGB could do it. Right. If we allow this kind of data to be accumulated by a few corporations or governments, the result will be really the end of democracy in the free market and the creation of new kinds of totalitarian regimes or total surveillance regimes in which somebody knows you better and can therefore manipulate you. Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's over.
You see, what you see when in technology these days where people are being triggered, right? People are being turned on. People are being possessed, right? By their phone. You know what I mean? It's saying, yo, something told me to do that, or I heard a voice and I'm being gang stalked, right? All of this is coming through this technology stuff. So when you come to find out that big tech is basically a front for these companies, right? For a regime that's an apartheid regime, a murderous regime. Look, Microsoft is Israeli almost as much as it is American. Okay. So that puts a lot of things into perspective, like OpenAI and ChatGPT. Basically, Microsoft is the biggest investor and shareholder and basically, beneficiary of the technology. Microsoft is a $1 trillion company, of course. That's Bill Gates, but they're basically a front, as you can see. And of course, they're utilizing their technology in this illegal war that's taking place. So that's something that they don't let people know on the front. But here goes the CEO, Steve Ballmer, you know, card carrying member. How Microsoft is invested in Israeli settler colonialism. Okay. So for all of my investors out there, everybody that deals with stocks, the day for you to front company to short companies like this, based on the fact that when this information becomes public knowledge in a way that it could damage its reputation, it will make the stocks tumble. All right. These are viable stumbling points right here, because a lot of people are not aware that if they start a divestment campaign on the campuses against Microsoft, if they start a boycott the same way that they're crippling McDonald's and Starbucks against Microsoft, do you know how much you could benefit off of the short? Right? So I talked about the fact that there was a lot of oil, and one of the main reasons for this Holocaust and this genocide that's taking place in Gaza, they're using AI to take out certain families and whatnot based off of who they are and what and their sovereign claim to this oil rich land. Just to show you what I was talking about, here goes Netanyahu's 2035 vision for Gaza. The same way that they talk about Project 2025, these people are out here putting out 100-year plans, or they're putting out, they basically putting out white papers, and they're putting out roadmaps for things that they want to come true. And we should be doing the same shit. They're no different. They're projecting their vision into the minds of millions of people by basically putting some shit that on paper it looks crazy. It looks like it could never happen, but you'd be surprised that's how things happen. So instead of us speaking about Project 2025 all of the time and giving it energy, where is our white paper? When are we going to have the conversation to say, yo, I'm dropping my version of my Project 2025. I need 10,000 of y'all in the building ready and willing to invest and to make it a reality right now, because that's the real magic. You feel me? I'm showing you what they doing, but I'm also encouraging you to take some clues and whatnot. Pay attention to how the magicians are doing their magic. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't about exposing, because you can't expose anything. It ain't about blowing it up, because you can't blow it up. It's about reverse engineering it and to see how certain pieces on this chessboard is moving. But here, check this out. This is Netanyahu's 2035 vision.
It's their 2035 Gaza plan to rebuild Gaza into an Israeli version of Dubai. How are Israel and the United States going to steal the oil and all of the natural gas off of Gaza and to enrich the likes of BlackRock and Vanguard? Well, look no further than the brand new Gaza 2035 plan, which Netanyahu unveiled this weekend. Great timing, too. He's like, hey, we're about to destroy Rafah.
That's why when you see them bombing that whole area to smithereens, it is a demolition project. Also, it is an open air weapons show, right? The war that they have going on in there, it's not even a war, it's a Holocaust, it's a genocide. It's an open air weapon show, because they are testing out AI weapons, they're testing out new weaponry, they are testing out the lasers, they're testing out the drones, they're testing out all type of precision things, their AI systems. We talked about that on a few shows, right? And they're also using a form of a LLM, large language model, in order to basically dictate if people could live or die based off of their biometrics, facial recognition, and things of that nature. They're targeting civilians, but they're also targeting families and civilians who would have inherited the trillions of dollars in oil wealth that sits right off the shores of the Gaza, because the Gaza sits right on the water, the same way that you have on South Beach with Ocean Avenue. Ocean, like where Wet Willies and all and Fat Tuesdays and all of that is at. That would be Gaza right there. That would be the equivalent of what Gaza sits on. You feel me? And then all the way down where like Fountain Blue and the Gaza will be all the way down where Fountain Blue is at, and then Tel Aviv and everything would be over there where Wet Willies and where Fat Tuesdays is at. That's how that shit is set up over there. It's a waterfront area, beachfront, and in that water is trillions of dollars worth of gas. And BlackRock, Vanguard, and all of these people, they like, yo, we turning the other cheek, use the whole invasion as a front, but get that shit done, because they want them to graze it. It's a demolition project, along with basically saying to all of the residents, it's their modern day Nakba, where they're like, yo, y'all are all guilty for the provocations of a few. We're charging your whole society over there in Gaza because y'all are under the leadership of Hamas. So if they attacked us, y'all all attacked us, and we moving y'all up off this land right here, and we're gonna treat this land like it's nothing. But at the same time, whole time, it is worth trillions of dollars. Do not let the fact that the buildings and everything is dilapidated and it's a war zone, the same thing in the Congo. Don't miss the fact. Hold on. I'm bugging right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? The hell? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna turn that off. But yeah, let's check this out.
Totally eliminate about 1 million people. But here's a 9-page PDF for our plan. This is what we plan to do in Gaza, which is perfect. It's like we want to build our own Dubai in Gaza. Perfect timing. So take a look at this. This is the new Israel 2035 plan for Gaza. Look how beautiful that will look once they rebuild it and kick all of those all those dirty Palestinians out of there. Mm-hmm. And they'll build new rail infrastructure, new port infrastructure. It'd be easy access to all of that oil. And they'll be able to get all of this into the Middle East economy. So a place so devoid of Palestinians, of course, as they describe it. They describe it as a future where Gaza is de-radicalized from Islamism, transformed into a trade hub of prosperity and innovation, and integrated into the Middle East economy. So a place totally devoid of Palestinians, of course. According to the Jerusalem Post, the documents lay out 3 steps to return Gaza to self-governance and economic growth. The first step would see 12 months of humanitarian.
These people is crazy, yo. I promise you. So this is the major drill right here that they pulled off within 12 hours of each other. It was a major drill in terms of, in my humble opinion, how they feed their God. They if there's one thing that I could say about these people is that, they be on point with their sorcery. You know what I'm talking about? They feed their entities on time. So they did a drill on a Hamas leader in a foreign land in Iran. They knocked him off with a bomb, I believe. And then they knocked off the Hezbollah leader in Beirut with a drone strike. And they did this while they were sitting down having peace treaties with the leader of Hamas, who they assassinated. They were in the midst of having peace treaties with him. So imagine that they brought this thing up about 2035, because they have a plan for his land. So if they having a peace treaty with him, they're not telling him, of course, that he could move back into the Gaza. Their peace treaty is, yo, if we call a ceasefire, you got to get up off of this land. And he's probably like, over my dead body. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't leaving that. I can't, that my people wouldn't even allow me to accept no terms like that. You out of your mind. But this is what they really want. So he's expendable, right? So he got clipped. Okay. And the fact that they clipped him has torn everything upside down, because on a global market, right? On a global market, we don't see, that's why Taj came through and said we have to study geopolitics. Now, keep in mind, this is the F.E.A.R epilogue show. This is just to show you how things have escalated since we left you. And we were telling you this is about Project F.E.A.R, right? False elections appearing real, and false expectations appearing real. But in these dog days of summer, in these Jason months, the Wizard of Oz and the Grand Dragons in them and these Draconians, they gonna cook, because they feed off of the F.E.A.R energy. You understand? They need that. They need to charge the atmosphere with that F.E.A.R energy. There's an energy, they're feeding off the loosh. There's an essence that people give off, especially when they're in a state of fear and uncertainty, right? So the rumors of war are reaching a feverish pitch. Okay, you had the worst day in the stock market, right? They wiped off 2 trillion right off the board the day after they buried homie from Iran, right? Because this assassination is shaking up a lot of markets, right? They said that this was the worst day because of recession fears, and they lied. That was propaganda through the Western media, because they don't want people to panic and whatnot. But all of this is a direct result of the hit that they put, or the assassination that they have of these 2 leaders and whatnot. And just basically, is it real? In the US, because it's the US doing this shit, it's the fact that nobody is in the White House right now, and the warmongers, or the basically, is it real? Who are the warmongers? They're the ones that are running the show and pulling the strings. Because when he was in America, when Netanyahu was in America, that's when the hits basically took place, in foreign soil, on somebody else's sovereign land. So that's provocations for war. So not only do we have an uprising taking place over in the Middle East and whatnot, where people are, the Triple H, they call them, right? We're going to get into that, but the Triple H is about to strike back, right? And they're promising that they're going to, they're going to spin the block, right? That's what they like. Look, nigga, we finna spin the block on this one. I know we said it a few times, because they did say that they was going to spin the block for Soleimani and a few other people, and they ain't spin, but they said they finna spin on this. But in the UK, right, there's threats of a red summer in the UK. Okay, there's threats of a red summer in the UK. They had an MK Ultra situation about a week ago where somebody went into a Taylor Swift dance recital and stabbed up some children, right? And they said that it was somebody who was quote unquote a migrant or an outsider or a Muslim. So you have all of this xenophobia and this anti-Muslim sentiment, and they out there popping off on the brothers, the same place where Supercell is taking place, the same place where Supercell is showing you that we have melanated people with these Henrietta Lack superpowers, right? The supercells are activated. The Mondem has quote unquote superpowers, but they out there popping off on the Mondem, right? And you see these seeds being planted for a race riot, right? A race riot, or a civil war, okay? Because they have they're feeding into that. But this is a video right here from my brethren over in the UK, and he's saying when shit starts getting and this is also, I feel what he's saying. When it get real, if you're not a stepper or if you're not somebody who keep it, who could match that, don't come and look for real people to back it down and hold it down. That's not how it works. So check it out.
Don't know why so many people are tagging me in this video, but the truth is these guys can get away with it because outside of the steppers, the men in our community are extinct. Yeah, most of the men that are watching this video now are going to leave a comment and do nothing. They're not going to invest in training. They're not going to train themselves. Nothing. Yeah. If they're not reposting and leaving a comment, then they're going to talk about it on a podcast at some point. But that's it. Yeah. The steppers are the only ones that will ride out. But you can't draw us out if you're not a stepper yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, if you're a commenter, keyboard warrior, all these things, please don't tag me. You get what I'm saying? Just leave your comment and then go back to doing nothing. But if you're about training, investing in the training, and actually tangibly protecting the community, hit man up. We got the program there. Steppers only.
Steppers only.
BlackRock and violation.
I mean, I get where he's coming from. It's getting to that point. It's getting to that point. You feel me? Steppers only. Like, you got to take this shit up and really hold it down.
Of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Well, everyone knows that Teddy Roosevelt was the trust buster. But what they don't know is that Northern Securities wasn't actually a railroad company. It was a holding company under the control of J.P. Morgan. It didn't actually run railroads. Instead, this holding company controlled the stocks of multiple other railroad companies. And the control of these stocks gave them control over the corporate boards of these companies. And the corporate boards assigned the CEO. So their interest aligned with the central vision of Northern Securities. Teddy Roosevelt argued that, according to the law, Northern Securities was operating as a conspiracy because it allowed Northern Securities to control the entire railroad industry. Now compare that to what's going on today. We have a few investment firms that control a large percentage of stocks in virtually every major company in America. And they do this using your retirement money, which gives them the voting power to sway who sits on the corporate boards of these companies because they get your vote. It's called a proxy vote. And then the corporate board appoints the CEO. And that's why they have so much control. And if they didn't have your proxy vote, they wouldn't have this power, which isn't over one industry. It's over all industries. And this is why I write historical fiction books for kids on fake news, Federal Reserve Bank, how systems are for kids, because we could educate them to understand the world. Classical learner.
Yeah, so we'll do a deep dive on BlackRock one day. We have to do we got to do a deep dive so we understand how these investment firms really work and how they are so powerful and why they control every single business damn near in America, in the USA for that matter. So but as he said in the video, it has a lot to do with the people. So they're doing this in the name of the people, and it's very egregious what's being done. But let us continue. For people who get confused about uh, if everybody in Israel is all the same and if everybody agrees to it, and why certain Jews in America and other places protest against the Zionism or against Israel, check this out.
To go back to Israel and take power before the Messiah comes. So that's why they are giving a bad look for the Jewish people. That's why I don't like them so much.
So you don't support Israel Netanyahu?
No.
Oh, okay.
Most Hasidic Jews don't.
He's here.
Only the secular Jews, they don't have the Torah, they don't have nothing. They are completely different.
So if they don't believe in the Torah, what do they believe in?
Nothing. They just want to be like the identity of Israel. I'm Jewish and I can have a Jewish state. But if you be religious, and the Talmud says you're not allowed to go back to Israel and take over power.
The Talmud says they're not allowed to go back to Israel and take power?
No, it's not allowed. It's things that God says when he sent Jews in exile after the temple was destroyed. He said you're not allowed to come back until the Messiah comes.
So going back to the initial lecture that we did, Fear of a Black or More Messiah, when we broke down there's differences in our Messiah and their Messiah. It's stark differences. There's a conflict of interest in the hunt for the Messiah. So, once again, the replay is available. We'll drop the link in the chat room. It's a lot to talk about and go over. We won't do it right now, but I definitely encourage you to go ahead and get that lecture because it's breaking down what it is that we're talking about with the Black or More Messiahs.
Vladimir is under pressure from the same groups, France, UK, USA, so on. So Vladimir is like, listen, man, I'm down. So Vladimir now started hooking up these countries with infrastructure, doing deals with them for gold refineries, energy, fuel, nuclear power plants, and so on and so forth. And now Russia have a direct line into the resources of those countries in exchange. But it's a fair exchange because you see, when the West took things from us, they didn't build anything in Africa. They just give you paper money and then which at a price that they will set for your resources and take your resources. The difference with this now is that no, we'll buy it, and on top of that, we're going to build stuff for you that you can use. Very, very different. Same thing with China. The people that are supposed to be our enemies, according to the Western nations. Okay, when ECOWAS panicked, they said that, you know what? We drop the sanctions. We drop it. You called our bluff, and when we drop it, because they realized that, oh my God, if Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso are successful in separating themselves from us, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, because this is going to set a precedent for other African nations to do the same thing, because you're not supposed to be able to survive without ECOWAS. That's not the way things are supposed to be. If you enjoyed that video.
So we're seeing a complete shift in politics in Africa right now, with Russia being one of the main I would say supporters of the decolonization of Africa, of the continent. Okay, first it was France, and they got them up out of there. Now they moving America up out of there, and yeah, we're definitely looking at what's going on over there. I want to go over there and see certain things for myself with my own eyes. In terms of the chessboard and how they're moving the pieces on the chessboard for this stage, to set the stage for this world war. Russia definitely has the backs of many millions of Africans that will fight for him, you know what I mean, against whoever the hell they tell them to fight against. And it's a genius move for going into the continent and building with them and helping them, tap into their powers and
want to watch or listen to more, consider
keep in mind, Russia rocks with the image of the Black Christ or the Blackamoor Messiah, the melanated Coptic Christ. So they're even going to try to help them people over there cure them of that white Jesus or that quote unquote Caesar bourgeois spell that they got on them. So as you can see, there's 12 Navy ships. They have Republicans trying to authorize a resolution to authorize the U.S. armed forces against Iran. So once again, expedited resolution to bring that draft that they were talking about into a reality, a further reality, a faster reality than the date that they even put on it. Okay. So this provocation for war is becoming is speeding up.
That you can use. Very, very different. Same thing with China.
Okay.
The people that are supposed to be our enemies, according to the Western nations. Link in my bio.
So they got U.S. sending more fighter jets and warships to Middle East amidst the threats from the Iran-led axis. So they call this the axis of resistance, right? The axis of resistance. It's the Triple H. The U.S. Navy assembles 12 warships in the Middle East. So that's what has the market going crazy right now. Okay. $2.9 trillion wiped out from the stock market, right? So $2.9 trillion is wiped out. That's either investors pulling out, that's either these Muslim countries directly affecting the market, or that's money moving around in fears of war taking place. So Israel has a headache with the Triple H, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, right, out of Yemen. Okay, that's the Triple H, right? So as we can see, all of our characters from the WWF are currently on stage because, like I've been saying before, this thing is intricately tied into pure entertainment, right? Because this is theater, okay? And this theater is subconsciously tied into your childlike mind, your subconscious mind, your nostalgic mind, and they use certain triggers and they use certain icons and they use certain names and words and whatnot, okay? Even to the point where we have Kamala also in the game. And if we know anything about Donald Trump and his history, it is almost it's you can't even take it away from the WWE. It's tied in, it's intricately tied in to the WWE and Vince McMahon to in particular. Okay. They were inseparable. Donald Trump, Vince McMahon, and the Worldwide Wrestling Federation were inseparable in our childhood before he was even mentioned in politics. Okay. When he was just a quote unquote, this was his foray into entertainment before reality television. It was a 2-year stint on the WWE. And the payments were made during the 2 years that former US President Trump appeared on televised WWE events. This man standing to my right, his name is Kamala from Uganda. Shout out to my good brother Adika Butler, all right, who did a beautiful article and broke this down and spoke about this going all the way back in 2020. Okay. So you have Kamala, right? The WWF wrestler. You have Donald Trump, and now you got Triple H. Okay. So Triple H And then Triple H even had some drama with my dude Israel from the MMA world, right? So all of these characters that exist in the wrestling world are the same characters that you got on the world stage, right? His name was Kamala Harris. It wasn't just Kamala, it's Kamala Harris, right? His name is Kamala Harris. James Kamala Harris dies at 70 years old in 2020, coincidentally, right? So a lot of these are games that they're playing, and we don't even have a recollection to the fact that they're playing with a lot of people's subconscious minds with these names that they keep bringing back every 30 years and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? It's a whole stage. It's a clown show, right? This whole goddamn election with Trump is WWF. It's the same script writers. He's just a politician now.
Your parents civil rights activists?
Yeah, they were. They were active. They were. I mean, they were. My mother was actually a breast cancer researcher, but they met when they were active in civil rights movement. Yeah, Maya and I, my sister, we joke we grew up surrounded by a bunch of adults who spent full time marching and shouting.
Yeah, and see, that's what bugs me out about the criticism you receive, because it's like your parents were civil rights activists. You were born in Oakland. Oakland's a black ass town.
Oh yeah.
You went to Howard University. So why do people say things like she's pandering to black people?
They don't know me. And I, listen, I think that also, some folks have a limited vision of who we are as black people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on them. That's not on us.
What do you say to the people questioning the legitimacy of your blackness?
I think they don't understand who black people are.
Mm.
Because if you walked on Hampton's campus or Howard's campus or Morehouse or Spelman or Fisk, you would have a much better appreciation for the diaspora, for the diversity, for the beauty in the diversity of who we are as black people. So I'm not going to spend my time trying to educate people about who black people are.
And they're going to say that's one of them times you pandering to black people, but she's black.
No, but I'm black.
Yes.
And I'm proud of being black.
Absolutely.
And I was born black. I will die black.
This day.
And I'm proud of being black. And I'm
to
not
this
going
day.
to make excuses for anybody.
To this
they
day.
Don't understand.
To this day.
Hey. Tell it, sister. Tell it, sister. You know what I mean? She told y'all, don't mess with her, baby girl. She told y'all a thing or two. Let me tell you. So that's just a indication of, that's just a little, I don't know. That's just where we are right now in the world of politics, y'all. That's just where we are right now in the world of politics. What a time to be aligned. It's a beautiful thing, though. We find order in chaos. But yeah, that's what's going on. You have a sister cosplaying, on the road to campaign for the highest office in the land, and we don't even know who she is all the way. I don't even think we understand that this is all a script. This is all wrestling. I don't want to ruin anybody's fantasy, you know what I mean? But it is all a script. And I suggest and I suspect Vince McMahon is behind it. Vince McMahon and a few other people from his network, they have to be in a writing room putting this shit together, because this is definitely wrestling for us in the modern day political arena. That's exactly what this shit is. They say, you know what, man? We're gonna stretch this WWF script writing shit into a new genre, into a new niche. I think politics needs some spicing up, and then here they are. But rumors of war and things of that nature. The market is reacting. People are bracing themselves and preparing for any type of provocations from any one of the Triple H axis of resistance, the Triple H, Hamas, the Houthis, or the Hezbollah. So yeah, everything on Monday Raw, right? It's all on Monday Raw. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? But yeah, that's what it is. They're gonna bring, I think, the Iron Sheik, he tapped out. He's no longer. They're gonna have to do a reboot of him because he's gone. Monday, we have a show with our sister Rosmariah Bay from RV Bay Publications. We also have our sister Ciasia, and we're gonna introduce you to some new adepts. And it will be this is gonna be a beautiful show. Okay. But so that's gonna be it for the night. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to be here until the wee hours of the morning. We should be back. I think we're gonna give you Sacrilegious Sundays. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna pull up with a Sacrilegious Sundays, and inshallah. So I want to say thank you to everybody in the building for pulling up with us. We have some big announcements to make. We'll start them on Monday. We'll give you the announcements starting on Monday and whatnot. So yeah, with that being said, we out of here. We're going to close this out with Purple Like Prince. Y'all stay up, all right? Love and light. Peace.
Brand new purple light, Prince. Brand new purple light, Prince. Facts. Brand new purple light, Prince. Red and blue, purple light, Prince. Facts. You can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Brand new purple light, Prince.
To this
Brand
day.
new purple light,
To this day.
Prince. Facts. Brand new purple light, Prince. Red and blue, purple light, Prince. Facts. You can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I open my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah. We gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts. Peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.